A year after taking Josh Rosen in 2018 with the 10th overall pick, the Cardinals went and grabbed Kyler Murray with the first pick in the 2019 NFL Draft. While Murray led the Cardinals to a 5-10-1 record under first-year head coach Cliff Kingsbury and has definitely shown flashes, he has a bit of a hill to climb to ascend into a top-tier quarterback. The Cardinals' offensive line struggled, but Murray also routinely had trouble with blitzes and would frequently hold onto the ball while waiting to see something open instead of throwing with anticipation. When he would throw on rhythm, however, he looked like an entirely different quarterback. He could deliver perfect balls, had some great shots downfield, and could make quick and decisive reads. His legs are certainly electric and make him incredibly dynamic, but his mechanics aren't as consistent once he gets out of the pocket and starts running around. A few things jump out when looking at his stats that also end up being backed up by the film. When the Cardinals went no huddle, he completed 70% of his passes, had a quarterback rating of 96, and had 8 yards per pass attempt. While he ran the no-huddle 35.9% of the time, the no-huddle actually accounted for 41.7% of his yards. A similar trend can be found when he's in the shotgun versus under center. His completion percentage goes up by 25%, his passer rating is 23 points higher, and his yards per attempt is 1.1 yards greater. When running RPO concepts, he also had consistently better numbers than he did on pure dropbacks. None of this is super surprising given the offense he ran at Oklahoma that had him in the shotgun, running RPOs, and pushing the tempo. Of concern though is his ability to be decisive, process NFL reads, and limit the sack numbers when he isn't running a no-huddle offense. A consequence of going no-huddle is that the plays become simpler, which can be great for a rookie quarterback used to making basic defender keys, but can also be easier for defenses to guard against since the play selection, formations, and tendencies are much more specific and easy to identify. The Cardinals ran a lot of empty sets, which puts a strain on their offensive line and forces Kyler to make quick, decisive reads. Here they have a simple slant flat concept where he reads the flat defender and throws based off his movement. The Browns are in cover 4 here with each defensive back taking a quarter of the field deep. That leaves the outside linebacker or slot defenders to cover the flats. Kyler keys the outside linebacker to the top of the screen, and as the linebacker goes to the flat route, that opens up a window behind him for the slant, and Murray makes a decisive throw for a nice gain. Here's another simple read out of an empty formation. To the 3 receiver side, they have a hook, flat, fade combination going on. It's the same basic concept as a slant flat where you can key the flat defender and throw off of them. Here, number 20 sits and doesn't come down to the hook, and Murray throws on rhythm for an easy completion. Backside, they're doing something pretty cool and setting up a delayed screen. So if Murray doesn't like the look to the bottom of the field, he can instead turn and throw the screen. Overall, Kyler does a good job of diagnosing defenses and recognizes man coverage here to the bottom of the screen. He quickly holds the safety with his eyes and throws a great ball without hesitation along the sideline to give his receiver a chance to go get the ball. When Kyler only has to read 1 or 2 things, he can throw with anticipation and accuracy. He can get in trouble when he has to process a lot of things at once, which can lead to his sacks and interception issues. Here he holds the safety again and throws on rhythm with power and with anticipation for a nice gain on a comeback to the sideline. These simple reads translate really well to RPO concepts where Murray can make quick decisions based on 1 or 2 key defenders and make decisive throws. It fits his current skill set perfectly, protects the offensive line, opens up lanes in the run game for the zone read, and gets the ball in playmakers' hands. Here the Cardinals run a simple orbit motion behind the quarterback into a bubble route. Murray's looking at the inside linebacker and play side safety. As soon as he sees that they don't bump over with the motion, it makes it an easy decision to throw the bubble as the Cardinals have the Steelers outnumbered on that side of the field. Here's another RPO with the same concept just with 2 receivers. Larry Fitzgerald runs the bubble and the outside receiver blocks the man lined up over him. Murray's keying the outside linebacker, and as he stays and feeds slightly towards the run, Murray pulls the ball and delivers it to Fitzgerald for an easy 9-yard gain. While his rhythm throws, underneath reads, and efficiency in the RPO and read option game are incredibly polished, he does have issues in some other areas. He'll often over-rotate his hips, have a base that's too wide or too tight, dip his shoulders, or fall away from some of his throws. This causes a lot of horizontal inaccuracy with the hip rotation and a lot of vertical inaccuracy with his lack of follow-through and his shoulder dip. On this play, you can see Kyler falling away and over-rotating on his throw, which causes the ball to sail to the right out of bounds. Ideally, this ball is put out in front with some arc to allow the receiver to run underneath the throw to win the jump ball. You can see as Murray is finishing his throw that he's already leaning and falling backwards. Mechanically, this changes the release point of the ball and causes the ball to sail over the head of the receiver. Here's another case where Murray finishes his throw off balance, which causes the ball to be flat and lose power before it gets to the receiver. This eliminates any chance for run after the catch. The ball goes where your body tells it to go, and here Murray's body is telling it to go flat and low as he's falling away. Here, the opposite issue comes up as he lacks follow through and full hip rotation. He overextends on his base, his front foot is too far forwards, and this causes him to be unable to generate power and accuracy because he can't get his hips all the way around. Ideally, your belly button is pointing where you want the ball to end up, and here Kyler ends up short of his aiming point, and just like the last clip, the ball goes where your body tells it to. Behind the receiver and into the arms of the defense in this case. You can try this yourself. You can get in a wide stance and try to bring your hips and belly button to point to the other side of your front knee. Now shorten your stance a little bit wider than your shoulders and try to do the same. You should have a much wider angle of hip rotation available to you, which helps you steer the ball and generate power. Another issue with Murray's game is bailing from clean pockets with receivers open and time to make the throw. Then, when he escapes the pocket, he also tends to bring his eyes down and focus on checkdowns right in front or search for a running lane. Here he has Kirk, number 13, breaking open on a deep out, but bails from the pocket instead of standing in and delivering the throw. As he rolls out, he has Kirk still working open and coming back to him towards the sideline, but Murray's locked in on receivers underneath and signaling at Kenyon Drake in the flats. If scrambling and getting outside of the pocket on broken plays is going to be Murray's thing, he has to do a better job of lifting his eyes up and seeing the whole field. If you remember the quick hitch from earlier that Murray threw on time, here's that exact same play with the exact same read, and Murray misses it this time. He looks to Fitzgerald first, but you can see that he looks directly at the hook and doesn't throw it afterwards. This is a common issue for him. If his first read isn't there, his instinct is to get out of the pocket and scramble or hold onto the ball for far too long. This is a huge contributor to his sack numbers and gets him in a lot of trouble. You can see Murray's instinct to run first right here. As soon as he feels pressure or sees a hole to scramble through, he takes it, which often leaves big plays on the field in the passing game as longer developing routes are just opening up when he takes off. You can see highlighted right here at the bottom of the screen, this dig is coming open towards the middle of the field, but Murray's already left and taken off. Here's one last example of Murray's shallow eyes leaving a big play on the field. Here he escapes the pocket after his first read and hits a hitch for a short gain, which is fine, but there's also a receiver wide open within his field of view in the end zone. Kyler Murray has some exciting tools to work with and has shown that he can translate them to the NFL. His biggest issues right now are his indecision on pure dropbacks, full field reads, and his inconsistent mechanics. He's an uneven but very talented player, which is mostly what you'd expect from a rookie. Kingsbury's offense focused on a ton of stuff that was short and emphasized their receivers winning on isolated routes versus the defender in front of them. When Kyler threw on time, he was incredibly more accurate, allowed for yards after the catch, and kept the offense moving. The raw talent is there. Murray has the arm to make all the throws, he can be dynamic in the run game, and when he has a simplified, fast offense that helps him accelerate his decisions, he can be an exceptional quarterback. With a year 2 leap for Murray and the addition of DeAndre Hopkins, the Cardinals can be ready to compete right now. And maybe it doesn't stop at the playoffs, but the Super Bowl. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. It helps us out tremendously. Comment below who you'd like me to analyze next, and make sure to check out our website, weeklyspiral.com, where you can read all our latest content, including a written form of this video with GIFs. You can also find our Patreon and social handles and all that stuff there as well. Until next time, I'm Casey Sully, and I'll see you on the next film breakdown.